Side 14 is a little bit different in how it works. Okay, I know that the images show the T-square being put at an angle, and you are more than welcome to do that at home with your regular T-square and practice board. But in the classroom, I don't want you shifting the parallel bar too much because it'll break the strings that are holding it parallel. So I'm going to be teaching you a couple tricks of the trade. But first thing I need to point out to each of you is that we're doing metric measurements on this one, millimeters. Okay, so on each of these. Additionally, we are going to be making lines perpendicular to the thin line, or you could look at it as we're making lines parallel to the thick lines. So the spacing on this is extremely important. Now, the architecture scale that I gave you, the triangular thing, okay, none of these sides is metric. These are all standard US customary, okay? So using any other side is not going to help you with this. Over by the return tray where you turn in your work, there is a drawer that is labeled rulers. You're going to need to borrow a ruler today. If you're doing this at home, you're going to need a ruler that has centimeters on the side. Okay. A quick reminder, 1 centimeter equals 10 millimeters. Okay, so there's 1, so 1 centimeter, that's 10 millimeters. I have 5 centimeters, that's 50 millimeters. And each of these teeny tiny little dots is going to be a millimeter. So the first thing that I want to point out, these are all going to be 7 millimeters apart. Our natural instinct is to measure along the bottom. Don't do that. Okay, that would be wrong because they would be either much closer together or further apart based on the angle. If we are drawing lines parallel to this dark line, we're going to set up our ruler along this long slanted line. Okay, and again, this is a practice in patience. I am going to grab a tiny mechanical pencil for this because 7 millimeters is really quite small. So I'm going to come through, there's 5 centimeters, there's 7 millimeters. And to keep my brain straight, I'm just going to shift this over a little bit so it's on the 5 mark, and then I find another half and add 2 millimeters. So now I'm at 7 millimeters. And you're going to go through and you're going to mark all of your measurements along that line. Take your time to measure correctly, because this is the sheet that people get really mad when I hand it back to them and they have to redo it because they didn't measure correctly. Okay, so once you have those measurements, you are going to want to draw your lines. Okay, I'm going to teach you the most amazing trick that my drafting teacher taught me in high school. Okay, this thing will save you tons of time. If as soon as you figure it out, you're going to be the most brilliant person you've ever met. Okay, it's one of those things that it's worth the time to learn how to do. So you have your 2 triangles, and what you're going to want to do is set one triangle up. Actually, I'm going to go with this one. I'm going to set one triangle up so that it's directly on the line that we're trying to make things parallel to. And we're going to set the other triangle right up against it. Okay. Now, as I slide this triangle back and forth, it's keeping this edge parallel to that line. So I would only have to shift it to my point that I've measured out. Draw the line. Okay. Lift up those fingers. Pull this forward. Draw the line. Okay. Mrs. Early, I'm running out of space. That's okay. So you can pick everything up, move it over, realign your triangle with your most recent line, and then you can continue on. There is another way that you can do this. Okay, you can set up one triangle so that it's parallel to the line you're trying to draw lines perpendicular to. Okay. Set up your triangle, pull it back, and then create your 90-degree angle on that. Okay, that is another way to do the same thing. Okay. So, key concepts. We're measuring in millimeters, so you need to get a regular ruler. 10 millimeters equals 1 centimeter. When you do your measurements, do it along the line that you are drawing perpendicular to. Okay? Then use your two triangles to help line things up, and then hold the base one and pull the other one to get your other lines. Okay, it works in the opposite direction too. So there's the key concepts for number 14. Good luck, and don't forget to letter your full name at the bottom of the handout and turn it in.